No doubt you've already visited the sites of various companies who spray UPVC doors and windows and kitchens, and every single one has promised you a quality spray job and great service. And that's no surprise. After all, any company that didn't offer you that shouldn't be in the business in the first place. Now, we think that's a given, not something to make you jump up and down with excitement. We think you deserve more. So why us? What makes us different from other companies in Liverpool and Merseyide? Why should you give us your hard-earned cash and not somebody else? Well, we believe that we offer the best customer service of any company spraying kitchens and UPVC doors and windows in the industry. Well, that's easy to say, you might think. After all, everybody promises great service. Well, yes, they do. But for us, service excellence isn't something we think we have to promise in order to win the business, whilst secretly regarding it as a bit of a pain. It's a key element of who we are, how we think of ourselves, and what we do. Ask virtually any company in the industry what business they're in, and they'll say something like the paint spraying business. And if you ask, well, what about customer service? They'd add, oh yes, that's really important too. In other words, service is an add-on to what they're really interested in, i.e. the spraying. Now, if you asked us that question, we'd answer, we're in the customer service business. We just provide that service by spraying people's kitchens and doors and windows. You see, to us, service is a core element of what we're all about, not a second priority. Now, don't you want a company with this type of attitude transforming your home? Most companies talk about how much they want to satisfy the customer, but do you know what that means? We can define customer satisfaction as matching the customer's expectations. Because when you choose a company to spray your kitchens or doors and windows, you have a mental list of things you expect from them. That they'll turn up on time, they'll be pleasant and not grumpy, they won't leave any mess, etc., etc. And if the company does those things, they'll have matched your expectations and you'll be satisfied. Well, we think you deserve more than that. We think you have the right to demand more than that. We think matching your expectations is the beginning, not the end. Not something we should express praise for. Our business grows mainly by customer referrals, and we want you not just to give your friends and relatives our name if they ask you for it. We want you to actively shout it from the rooftops to everyone you know, and we know you won't do that if all we do is match your expectations and do what a spraying company is supposed to do. We want to exceed your expectations constantly, all the time, at every stage of the process, from how we handle our first telephone conversation to when we do a follow-up visit a week after the job's finished to check everything's okay. We want to give you 5, 6, a dozen reasons to refer us to everyone you know. So let's have a look at what we think are the constituent parts of great service. Reliability is all about trust. By it, we mean, will a company do what they say they're going to do? Because if they do, they're reliable. And if they don't, they're not. It's pretty black and white. There's not much of a grey area about it. Now, we do what we say we're going to do. If we say we'll phone you back, we will. If we say we'll give you a quote within 24 hours, we will. If we say we'll be at your house at 8:30 on Tuesday morning to do a job, we will. If we say we'll call around a week after the job's finished, we will. If we say we'll work late, well, you get the picture. How many times have you heard the dreaded words, sorry, that's not the way we do things, or there's nothing I can do, it's company policy, or my hands are tied, it's more than my job's worth? Well, those words aren't in the vocabulary of anyone at SuperSpray Liverpool. We're that flexible, we could be contortionists at the Cirque du Soleil. All of our rules and procedures exist for one thing only, and that's to give you fantastic service. Rules are applicable and appropriate for 95% of situations. But if for some reason the rule's getting in the way of delivering fantastic service, or the situation's one of the 5%, all our employees are allowed, now make that encouraged, to break the rule. It's as simple as that. Though there are certain health and safety exceptions, obviously. The phrase, "the answer's yes, now what's the question," sounds a bit trite, like a cliche, but we mean it. If you have a request of any kind, our immediate response is always to ask ourselves how, not if, we can do it, rather than come up with some excuse as to why we can't. That's where the flexibility helps, of course. And we won't make a meal of it either. We'll do it with a smile on our faces, not a huge sigh. In fact, much of the time you'll find us volunteering to help without being asked. Any request you make of us isn't an inconvenience. It's an opportunity to go the extra mile and show you what we're made of. For example, if you bought new handles and knobs for your kitchen cabinets, we'll fill and sand those old holes and drill new ones free of charge. We pride ourselves on doing things other sprayers wouldn't think of. Accessibility means, can you get hold of us when you want to, not when we want you to. There's nothing more annoying than not being able to get hold of someone or your calls not being returned. Getting that dreaded automated message, "Our office is closed, but you can leave a message," and while you're leaving it, you're thinking, "I bet they don't call me back and I've got to call again." Now, when you want to be able to contact us, you'll be able to. If you email us for a quote, we'll call you within 2 hours to arrange a visit to your home. If you have to leave a voice message on the phone because we're all busy with customers, we'll get back to you once again within 2 hours. No inconvenient office working hours that you have to work around. You can call us at any time between 8 in the morning and midnight, 7 days a week. We might even answer the phone outside these hours, but please don't hold us to that. Even we have to sleep sometime. Empathy is about walking a mile in the other person's shoes, looking at things from their point of view. Because the last time we looked, you pay our wages, we don't pay yours. So if anyone has to be inconvenienced in some way, we think it should be us and not you. We look at everything from the customer's perspective and ask ourselves the question, if we were the customer, how would we like this to be done? So, as an example, if you work and you're only available at weekends, we'll be happy to work Saturday or Sunday. And we won't expect you to pay extra either. We'll do it without charging you an extra penny. We appreciate that you're letting us into your home and putting up with inconvenience having us there, and we want to cause you as little disruption as possible. The phrase "the customer's always right" has been around for a long time, and that's for a good reason. It's true. All of our employees are scrupulously clean, hygienic and well groomed, just as you might expect, or hope anyway, from anyone entering your home, and they'll treat your property and belongings with the respect they deserve. They'll also behave impeccably, be polite, courteous and friendly at all times to you and all your family, including the dog, and even your neighbours if we come into contact with them. Last but not least is efficiency, doing a first-class job all the time, every time. Now I say not least because let's face it, without this, all the other behaviours I've mentioned aren't really worth a carrot. Our employees being helpful, flexible, empathetic, friendly, reliable, etc., isn't going to be worth much if we don't do a quality job spraying your kitchen or your doors and windows. But it's also last because at our company we regard it as a given. You have a right to a quality job. It's what you're paying good money for. Having your kitchen or your doors and windows sprayed will save you a small fortune, but let's face it, it's not cheap. We're talking about more than loose change here. So doing a perfect spray job isn't something to alert the media about. It's what we're supposed to do. It's all the other behaviours that set us apart from the competition and justify my boast about offering the best service in the industry.